Hey everyone, welcome to Capture One Compares, where we compare one feature in Capture One with an equivalent feature in Lightroom Classic and see which one provides the better user experience. Today we are examining selecting people. In Lightroom, this has been a feature for a little bit now, so I think that they beat Capture One to the punch by a little bit more than a year. And if we come over to masking, we're going to find the ability to select, different parts of the image, but then we get select people. And this has been added to Capture One. So if we come into Capture One and we take a look at the layering and masking tool, we are able to come to selecting individual people, or so it says. And the drop-down menu is going to look very similar. So let me show you how this effectively works in both softwares and kind of the pros and cons. And I want to take a look at the same two images. Let's start with just one subject. So we'll take a look at the same image here in both Capture One and Lightroom. And let's say that we wanted to mask the eyes and the skin. Well, we would be able to do this. In Lightroom, we would come to select people in the masking tool, and we come in here and we get the ability to, of course, mask the entire person. Does a very good job. I could come to facial skin and add that. And then I'd be able to add body skin as well if I wanted to, and that would be one mask if I wanted that to be skin that I grabbed. So I could create that mask, and it would come in here. I would be able to then add one for the eyes. So let's say that I came in, I went to select people right there inside of the masking tool. This is the person, of course, and we'd be able to come to eyes and pupil and create the mask. Now, how well did it do the eyes and pupil? I chose this image because we have a subject turned mostly to the side, away from the camera. So I'll come to the navigator here. We're going to zoom in, and let's take a look. And we're going to see that overlay actually does a really good job. And if I take a look at the skin, again, a very nice job, covering up some of the eyebrows there, but overall a pretty decent job. All right, well, let's take a look at doing the same thing in Capture One. I'm going to come in here to layering and masking, and we now have the people button. It's been in Capture One for a little while, so let's examine it. And we get to do something pretty cool here. I could say body skin. I could say facial skin, but I could also do pupils and iris, and then I could create the mask, and it would add all of them, but I could also separate the masks. Now, this will create 3 masks, so of course I could do the exact same thing that I did before, right? I could do one selection and then add another mask and another selection. But this is a pretty cool feature to be able to separate the masks and create them, and I'll get 3 masks out of it: the pupils and iris, facial skin, and body skin. Now, if I take a look at the mask, I take a look at body skin, it didn't add that hand perfectly. Facial skin, it did a very nice job, except it grabbed an area to the side. So let's go ahead and zoom in and really see what's going on with more complicated masking. Here, it did a better job with the eyebrows, but it added a section here that we'd want to remove. When I come to the body skin, it grabbed some of this hand, it didn't grab this part, and it didn't grab the neck that was not added inside of facial skin. So I'd say a few more mistakes. Come to pupils and iris, and I think also it did a very nice job. So the benefit of being able to separate the masks immediately is really useful in individual portraiture, where I might want facial skin, I might want eyes, I might want teeth to be separated as masks at the beginning. I'd be able to do that with several button clicks fewer inside of Capture One. And I think that that's a really nice thing. Its intelligence in finding body skin doesn't seem to be as good as Lightroom, on the other hand. Now let's take a look at an image with 2 people. So we're going to grab this image here and the exact same image here in Lightroom. Starting off in Lightroom, we come to people and we get the ability to add this whole person or this whole person. And if I come to one of them, I will get the ability to add facial skin, body skin, etc. for just that individual. And this differentiation is really useful. And I would be able to do this for the 2 individuals very, very simply. Or I could add one whole person and then parts of another, and the tool works quite effectively there. Let's try to do the same thing with both images. Let's say that I wanted to grab, let's say, one whole person. But if I looked at selecting the subject, let's take a look what happens. It grabs both people. Well, I don't want that. Let's go ahead and delete that mask. Let's say I want a mask of this person in the background. I'd be able to do that. Entire person, create mask. And let's say that I wanted, select people, to grab the facial skin of this person here. Come there, and I'd be able to do the facial skin and create the mask, and that's very simple and straightforward. And if I wanted to do another mask of body skin or this for the other person, we could do so. Well, let's come over here to Capture One and take a look. If I grab the subject, it does the exact same thing. It finds both people to be the subject. Well, that's not exactly what we want. Now, of course, what I could always do is grab the AI eraser if I wanted to and simply start removing one of the people from this mask, and then I would have a perfectly reasonable mask of the other person. All right, so that's possible, not a giant deal. But let's come to selecting people, and you'll notice I don't have the ability to differentiate people here. I can't do it. So if I grabbed body skin, right, and facial skin, and I separated the masks, what I end up getting here is combined masks. This is facial skin for both people, body skin for both people, and that's not as useful. Now, obviously, we can modify the masks. If I wanted, facial skin only of this person, I could very, very easily grab an erasing AI brush, come over and subtract from there, or a regular eraser, and be able to erase that, whatever I wanted to do. Of course, that would be totally possible. But I don't have a built-in easy way of grabbing just pieces from one individual inside of Capture One. It does rely on very specific adding or subtracting, whereas those features are actually fantastic here in Lightroom. What does that end up meaning? I think that if I was doing individual portraiture, the benefits in Capture One, mostly speed benefits naturally, are actually really good, and I would enjoy that. In Capture One, with its history of masking being relatively new, but with its tethering being its signature feature, that kind of checks out. That Capture One has this amazing history of individual studio portraiture features that work really well. Lightroom is just better at dealing with multiple people inside of an image. I find that mask creation to just be simpler and produce masks I would actually use for individual people inside of a same photograph. So that's kind of that breakdown, and I think that between the two, it depends on my workflow, which one actually is going to work better for me. So that's the comparison of selecting people. By the way, an additional thing to talk about, I've announced recently that I have a brand new class on Capture One that is on Udemy. It is over 7 hours of material on learning Capture One the right way from beginning to end. We talk about data organization, we talk about editing and masking, we talk about tethering and exporting, and the entire feature set of Capture One. So if you want to learn Capture One the right way from beginning to end, follow the link that I've got inside of the video description, or go to Udemy and search for Capture One 0 to 60. That's what I've got for you today. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.